Now, the minor blues is an essential jazz form to have down as a jazz guitar player. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you the chords and break down the harmony to Dizzy Gillespie's Birk's works. Who's Birk's, you're wondering? Well, it is actually Dizzy Gillespie's middle name, with his birth name being John Birks Gillespie. Now, the minor blues has a few differences to the regular major jazz blues. We'll address these as we go. First, though, let's have a listen to what the form sounds like. Here's Once Through the Changes. Now, Dizzy Gillespie recorded this several times in different keys each time. Wes Montgomery and Kenny Burrell recorded it in B flat minor, but the kind of standard key most people play it in is F minor, probably because that's what key it is in the real book. But with any blues, whether it's major or minor, you ought to be able to take what I show you today and play it in any key. So we're in a minor key, the key of F minor, 4 flats in the key signature, and we have the typical length of a blues, so 12 bars. Let me show you the chord shapes you're going to need for this one. The all-important one chord is F minor 7. This is a drop 2 voicing, which on the guitar means voiced on 4 consecutive strings here off the A string. Make sure all the notes ring and go with a light pressure, just enough for the notes to ring out. So that's a F minor 7 there. F7 sharp 9, so a dominant with a sharp 9. Classic sound for the minor blues. And the blues for that matter. G minor 7 flat 5. A flat minor 7. A flat 9. B flat minor 7. C7 sharp 5, C7 sharp 5 flat 9. I just use a bar of the little finger on the top here to do this. Beautifully, interesting chord that. If you find that one difficult, just play C7 sharp 5 though. C minor 7 flat 5. And finally, D flat 9. Now, I picked those particular shapes just to make it flow well on the fretboard, make the changes smoother hopefully for you. But of course, if there's particular voicings for chords you favour, you prefer, then use those. They're 4-note voicings. You could of course drop things down to 3 if you prefer. But I always suggest getting the basics down first, and then you can move on in time to inversions and chord substitutions and passing chords. Now, those chord shapes and what you're about to see on the screen, the chart, you can get that on Patreon as a PDF on the lowest tier of my Patreon page, the supporter tier, link in the description. I think it's important to kind of compartmentalize the blues into 3 chunks of 4 bars and then piece it all together. So the opening, we start out from chord 1, F minor 7. I'm playing F minor 7 off the A string, so I think it's a bit thuddy and muddy off the low E personally. Might be a time for that, but I think this sounds better. So a bar of F minor 7, and then we're going to do this G minor 7 flat 5 for 2 beats, C7 sharp 5 for 2 beats, back to F minor 7 for a bar. So and then bar 4, which is always an interesting point in a major blues and a minor blues. We're gonna put a movement kind of bar to get towards bar 5. So we're going C minor 7 flat 5 2 beats, F7 sharp 9 2 beats, giving us the opening line being so what you've effectively got there is starting out from chord 1 and that little cycle on the 2, the minor 7 and the dominant, back to 1, and then you've got the interesting bar in bar 4, the bar which is pushing us somewhere else. And our next 4 bars 5, 6, 7 and 8, we have 2 bars of B flat minor 7, So we've been led there by that F7 sharp 9 and then 2 bars of F minor 7. So very simple. Put those two lines together, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our first 8 bars. In the next 2 bars, things are a little bit busier. We've got A flat minor 7, D flat 7, which you could play down here if you prefer, and then G minor 7 flat 5, C7 sharp 5 flat 9, massive mouthful, back to F minor where we started, back to home for 2 bars. Now, I would regard this, what I've written, as the head changes. So usually, you know, in the last bar, the last couple bars maybe over blues, you're going to get some sort of turnaround to cycle back to the beginning. On the head, no, but on the soloing changes we would, which I'll address in a second. Piecing the 12 bars together, we have this. A 1, 2, 3, 4. In my head, I'm screaming out for there to be a dominant chord at the end there. And if you were playing the soloing changes, you would want it. Otherwise, you get the potential of people getting lost of hearing too much of chord 1. So head changes, you just stay on that F minor 7, but you want to turn around in the last 2 bars if you're playing the soloing changes. Then everyone knows you're back to the beginning. Everyone's in the same place, hopefully. It just makes things flow a bit better, sense of nice movement and finality to the end of the form, even if it is a short form. Something I would do in those 2 bars, very simple. I'm not going to show you every possible turnaround you could do here, but just one that works well for this song. F minor for 2 beats, A flat 9, then just G minor 7 flat 5, C7 sharp 5 flat 9, or just sharp 5 if you want. Just that nice sense of movement you get at the end. And I think what you end up there with is, you know, you got a kind of busy-ish first line, opens up a little bit more in the second line, and then it gets busier again with 2 chords on every beat in the final line. So there's a bit of contrast there between the 3 lines. We have our 12 bar form. Let me play it to a backing track for you to hear it in full. You can always try and play along. I just comp that very simply forward to the bar. It's not necessarily how you're going to want to do it in the long run, but it's your foundation. It's where you start from. Because I think it's good for your technique to be able to just make those chord changes in time. Now, this kind of song is typically played in a format where you'd have a drummer and a bass player, but perhaps a pianist too. So you're not necessarily going to want to do that forward to the bar comping in those kind of scenarios. So we're going to want to add in different rhythms, possibly some passing chords. But if I just played the same changes but with just some different rhythms, you'll get a sense of the kind of things you might want to do with it in the long run. And then we could layer that up a little bit more. We've got the comping rhythms with some passing chords as well. And you can think of a chart, say a real book chart or my chart here today. It's kind of like a recipe, if you like, and that's the standard way to do it maybe. And you might interpret it and do it in your own way. In fact, definitely you should do that over time. And if you'd like some help with comping rhythms and chord substitutions and the things I was kind of just playing there, then do check out my Patreon. On the standard is essential tier, there's the melody 1 2 3 lesson in which I teach the melody, and there's also a comping 1 2 3 lesson in which I break down that kind of playing in more detail. I think for your long-term development, it is essential to understand what's going on under the hood, if you like. So the harmony, how the chords are working, why certain chords are where they are, what they're doing. To do that, let's remind ourselves of the key signature, F minor, the key, 4 flats, and the F natural minor scale being the following. F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F. Important thing to know on your circle of fifths that this is the relative minor of A flat major, the key with 4 flats. If we were to harmonise that scale, we'd get the following chords in that key. F minor 7 chord 1, chord 2 G minor 7 flat 5, 3 A flat major 7, that's the relative major, chord 4 B flat minor 7, chord 5 technically should be C minor 7 based on the chords you can build with that scale, but what we actually usually have is C7 because we need a dominant chord as chord 5. Chord 6, D flat major 7. Now often in a blues we'll turn that into a dominant, and which we do today. And E flat 7 chord 7 back to 1. So you can probably recognise most of the chords there. Most of the chords we've got in the song are found in the key, so it's quite simple harmonically. We start out on chord 1 for a bar, so that's pretty standard for a blues to start on chord 1. Obviously start from where we want to get back to, home. Think of that as the home sound, the tonality of the song. Then we're just going to do a 2-5. 2-5 with an alt oration, but 2-5. That could just be C7, doesn't have to have a sharp 5, but I think it sounds moodier and better. Back to 1. So it's 1, 2, 5, 1. That's our start point, the opening 3 bars. Bar 4 is a common place to have a 2-5-1, usually from another key, to take you to chord 4. Chord 4 is B flat minor 7 in this key. The dominant of a B flat chord, whether it be major or minor, is F7. So we really need an F7 at the end of the first line to get to that 4 chord in a more interesting way. So what we end up with is the minor 2-5, albeit with the 5 with an alteration again, to B flat minor. So we've got 2 and 5 from B flat minor to take us to chord 4. And that's a really common thing to do, to borrow a 2-5-1 from another key, which basically inserts a secondary dominant into the progression. The secondary dominant is F7 sharp 9, secondary because it's secondary to the primary dominant, which in the key of F minor would be C7. You could call this, look at it, I've labelled it on the chart as a 2-5, it's a 2-5 from B flat as I said, but you could call that F7 the 5 of 4, because it's the 5 chord 4, the 4 chord, which is where we get to. That facilitated that nice move to chord 4. We stay on that for 2 bars, then we go back home to chord 1 for 2 bars. Then we get this neat little move, which is some chromatic 2-5s essentially. We get A flat minor 7, so that's not a chord from this key because we get A flat major in this key, and then D flat 7. Hopefully you know those 2 chords and can hear that's a 2-5. It's a major 2-5, so from a major key. It's actually from the key of G flat. That's where you'd normally find that. And then what's interesting is them. So we've got A flat, D flat, so a 2-5-1 from a borrowed key. And D flat doesn't have too much business going back to G minor 7 flat 5. But what you get and why this works is because we go A flat to D flat, and then you go down a semitone G to C. So it's like a descending pair of 2-5s. And if you hear it, you can hear that descent then. It works really well. The other thing that's going on that's cool, the move from D flat to G is the interval of a tritone, the so-called devil's interval. And that's a common way to move in jazz harmony. Back to chord 1. And then you could have the turnaround there, which would be chord 1, an A flat 7, A flat 9 would be chord 3 as a dominant, so 3 7. Then 2 5 1. So very simple harmonically. Mainly chords 1 and 4, and the 2 and the 5, and we've got some borrowed 2 5s from other keys just to make the movements more interesting. So having broken it down, what are the similarities and differences to the major blues? I think the big similarity is the prominence of chords 1, 4 and 5. But obviously in the minor, the 1 and the 4 are usually played as minor chords and the 5 is played as a dominant, as you would in a major blues. We get that usual movement to chord 4 in bar 5, such a great moment in a 12-bar form. Now, like the major blues, there are so many different ways you could dress up these chords through substitutions and just extensions. And I think, the way you learn that is through learning more minor blues tunes and getting a feel for different ways people interpret the changes and getting those sounds into your ear. It might be things like varying the minor chord, instead of playing a minor 7, playing a minor 6 or a minor 9 or a minor 6 9, and of course on the dominants going a bit heavier on the extensions, so alterations probably to both the 5th and the 9th. But for me the big difference is simple. It's the tonality. The minor blues is darker in feel, and if we want to enhance that darkness, as I said, strip away the minor 7 and go minor 6 or maybe minor 9 or minor 6 9 for a more intense feel. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this song with me, then do check out a link to my Patreon. I suggest the Standards Essentials tier, where you get comping 1 2 3, melody 1 2 3, comping lesson. I go into detail about rhythms and different chord inversions you could use. Melody lesson breaks that down and goes through ways to start with the basics and take it somewhere else. Now, in case you missed a video I posted a little while ago on blues, I did a video on the key scale, I think, for playing over a major blues, actually, which is a mix of the minor and major blues scale. So I put that on the screen for you to watch, because I think it's a really important sound to get into your ear and your fingers. Don't forget, Jazz Guitar Lessons here every Monday with myself, Andy. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. You got any questions or comments, you leave them below. Until next time, you take care.